morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel L. Connon. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Big reports here today. Citigroup and Bank America both reporting earnings. Citigroup really disappointing here, trading down over $1. eBay, BlackRock, UNH also have reported earnings. CBS getting a big pop on a restructuring. Apple showing some life there yesterday, but let's start talking about this overall market here, Joel.
Wicked consolidation. That's the only thing I can say. Less than a 10-point range yesterday in the S&Ps. Five closes in a row, Dennis, between 1464 and a quarter and 1467 and a quarter. This market is winding up for 1495 or 1435.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's definitely winding up. That's crazy to get 4 or 5 closes in that tight of an area. We're trading 1467 here again. We keep finding resistance in the high 1460s, and they're buying them in the low 1460s. It's been the same story, it seems like, every day. Last 2 days, virtually identical ranges. Crazy. Obviously, we're in earnings season. The driver here, Joel, Citigroup, giving us a little bit of weakness here this morning. It's down now $1.50. They just reported earnings. They're getting killed. They reported 69 cents when you back out the items, and the estimates were up at 96. So a big miss from Citigroup, trading down $1.60.
It's funny when one of the things about not doing a live show, when we picked up to start the show, you said, "Oh, it's only down $1. I think it's going to be down more." Now we're down $1.60, down $1.61. Citigroup in big trouble here. We talk about this technical formation, and I'm probably the only one that calls it sitting on a cliff. But that's what we were doing. I'm holding the $42 level. Had multiple lows, 41.70 to 90. You knew you weren't going to get a chance to whack that during the regular session, so hopefully some of our traders caught it during the pre-market here. Big gap to fill here between 39.60 and 40.70. We're going to work our way into that. I think Pace and Shorts can bring this stock in at 40. Maybe not today, but over the next couple days.
90 cents away. Who knows? It could see that before we get done the show at this momentum. Bank America reported earnings as well. They actually beat by a penny, but all the financials are under pressure here. Since Citigroup's come out, all the financials have rolled over. So Bank America's traded down 24 cents. Their report wasn't that bad, but Citigroup just putting pressure on them all.
Well, for you folks out there that like playing the whole numbers, you did get a spike up to $12 there very, very quickly after the announcement. Don't think we'll see that today. But what we need to focus on today in Bank America is this 1133 level. 1133 was a low on the 9th, and then you had another low on the 15th at 1130. I think you take out that 1130 level here, and we'll have no trouble testing $11.
Let's talk about a few of the other financials because they have all rolled over. JP Morgan actually trading down 40 cents now after making a new high on the move there yesterday, looking weak too. And Wells Fargo trading down 30 cents now too. Wells Fargo keeps finding resistance. That same area, that 35.20 area, got up to 35.29 yesterday. But man, that keeps finding resistance in those 35s, and it's kind of tightened up here too. But it keeps finding buyers in that 34.55, 34.60 area.
Yep, exactly. Yesterday's low was 34.91, buoyed by the good J.P. Morgan earnings. But the real level you got to keep an eye on here is the 34.50 level. And that's analogous to what that 41.75 level was in the Citigroup. It's hanging up here after the gap up, holding it, consolidating, running into trouble in the 35s. If the stock does, in fact, take out 34.50, we should easily see 34 and perhaps 33.71, which was the low on December 31st.
A couple other non-financials reported this morning. UNH reported earnings. They actually came right in line, $1.20 against estimates of $1.20. Full year, they see it a little bit lower than estimates, so they're seeing 525 to 550. Estimates are up at 555, and that's got the stock trading down about 60 cents here at $53.
Yeah, I've got a spike down here to 52, 53. We have recovered back up to the 53.70 level, so you're going to get some consolidation within that. What I'm looking at is the double bottom that it broke through at 53.21 to 53.33. I'm going to use that as pretty good resistance up to the close. Coming back on the downside. Next really major support level that you come into is the double bottom that you had at 50. Well, it's actually a triple bottom back from the beginning of the year from 51.36 to 51.55. That's going to be your major support today in UNH.
eBay reported last night too. This was a stock we talked about, that 52 level. It actually did cut through there briefly on their earnings report. They just beat by a penny. It looks like 70. Get the back out the cost, 70 cents against estimates of 69. But here's the stock. It traded down initially on the report last night, then started lifting after hours, lifting after hours. Now, if you look at it, it's up at the upper end of where it's traded. It's trading 54.33 in the pre-market right now. The high on the 8th was 54.20, so it's trying to get towards and break out here.
Yeah, you did get a spike up to 54.86 in the pre-market. That 54.20 is a good reference point. If it fell below the 54.10, 54.20 level, you may want to reevaluate your long position. Not too far away from the all-time high. Well, actually, we are. The all-time high way up there at 58.88. So don't think that's going to come into play today. Really, for you longer-term players here, similar formation, sitting on a cliff. The $52 level is huge. It doesn't look like we're going to see either of those extreme levels come into play today.
Stock that has been on a massive run. I haven't looked at it for a while, but wow, BlackRock, BLK. Check this stock out. Since September, it's went from 170 to 222. It's continuing the run this morning. They reported 396 against estimates of 373. Now it's a $7.5 million stock buyback. Stock's trading up over $8. Bid up at 230 right now. Best offers up at 238. So BlackRock looking to break out here too.
And there's some other news on BlackRock that you probably didn't see.
What's that?
They offered my daughter an interview for a summer internship
Oh.
in their global marketing division. So I think
Maybe that's why it's trading up too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, 600 shares. Okay, is the volume that I see. So
very light.
Yeah, very very light. You're busting out here, huge run. The very few trades here, 230 and a quarter. Has been the high in the pre-market. It's been a while since this stock has been up at this level. It was at 227.77 back in March of 2010, and then all-time high in this thing is up in the 249 area. I just would let this thing just float around until the open, see what the pre-market high is, and use that as a reference point. Because if it starts to peel back, I mean, there's just no support in this thing.
I think, though, with such good news, I don't think you'll see that much of a pullback. I'd be almost a buyer of this thing on pullbacks. If it pulled back in the mid-220s.
Like where, though? I mean,
well, I know it's hard, but you had some consolidation from the last 3 days in that 220 to 223 area. So, obviously, if we get back into that area, there's some people with some positions on from that area, so maybe you find some support there, but I don't even think you're going to get a shot at it. These things are so thin, man. When like BlackRock trades really, really thin. Really good news. There'll be some people looking to buy it. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing tried to press up to even to the 235, 240 area today. Boeing, not flying this morning. Every morning we come in, there's more bad news. The FAA is now grounding all Boeing 787s until they can take a deeper look at why they keep having these issues. Stock trading down $1.30 on that at $73. It's right there, right on that low, kissing that low from the initial when they had the initial fire, January 8th at 73.11. We're right at 73. We've been lower in the pre-market, so
yeah. Yep.
Critical. What's the pre-market low there, Joel?
Someone hit the emergency exit, and 71.85 was the low.
Well, that's ridiculous. I don't think you're going to see it that low.
A little bit of a panic there. Since then, you've got a wicked rebound here up to 73. 49 in the pre-market, and that even takes you into yesterday's range. Actually, it just misses yesterday's low, 73.56. You gotta imagine if it gets back up there, Dennis, there's going to be a host of sellers. We've been talking about the 73.11 level that was taken out in the pre-market, trading right there right now. 73 key swing number, but boy, with all this bad news, I mean, I just can't see how, I can't see how anybody would be buying this stock unless they were short.
Yeah, so scary too. It's just like we were talking yesterday. The unknown factor here, it's so hard. You're trying to pick a bottom and say, oh yeah, they'll get these problems solved and I'm going to get the stock $3 cheaper. What if they don't get the problem solved? What if it's a bigger issue? And what if they have to, like, this is, their new planes, like, this is a major issue here. And obviously, if they can't get it figured out in a hurry, could put a lot more pressure on the stock. So I just think there's too many unknowns to be going long here. And I would tend to sell bounces on this as opposed to buy the weakness. CBS. Here's some good news for you, Joel, because we've been talking a little bit of bad news. I'll give you some good news. CBS converting their outdoor advertising unit into a REIT, spinning it off. Stock trading up enormous here this morning on heavy volume, 765,000 shares. It's up at 41.58. The high of the move is 39.77. We're going to blow through that today. I got to go to the weeklies. Is this a new all-time high for the stock?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
By a large margin. Obviously, someone got the memo yesterday as this stock exploded. Well, it had a good day yesterday, closed near the high. You did have that double top, 38.08, 38.20. It has obliterated that. You may have made the high at 41.92, so you got to figure someone may want to sell some stock here at 41.92 to the 42 level. I mean, this is heavy volume and stuff. I'm always skeptical when you get these breakups into two companies or you get a spinoff or something like that. I mean, I don't know how it
unlocking the value.
Instantly, yeah, unlocking the value. Well, it's been unlocked here on the in the pre-market. Yeah. And if I was long the stock personally, which we were, when were we buying those 35?
I actually had the stock too. I had 1,000 shares of this. I'm kind of kicking myself right now. I think we bought the stock around, like you bought some too. I bought it $34, I think is. And then this was last year, so I'd have to go to the weeklies to find exactly where I bought when it originally started breaking out. And then I turned around, I sold I think all of it around 37, so I took $3 out of it. But man, wish I still had the 1,000 shares because obviously the shareholders are pretty happy here this morning with the stock up $3.50. But you can't win them all. Well, actually, I guess I won on it, but I didn't win enough. And so that's a problem when you make money on the trade, you never make enough. When you lose money on trade, it's obviously not fun. So it's always a way to complain.
Did you take? Yeah, that's a trader mentality. And and you probably didn't take much heat on it either.
No, I don't think we took much heat on that one at all. That was one of yours where you were kind of thinking, oh, CBS when Apple was taken off, oh, maybe they'll make a bid for something like CBS or something. So we were trying to almost play it, just from a speculative point of view that they obviously Apple was looking for content maybe for their Apple TV or something. Maybe they make a play at CBS or something. So we were buying. We had calls too, just thinking, you're just playing rumors and different stuff.
What am I harebrained scammed?
Well, anyways, it worked out for me though, so I did make some money on it. But I wish I would have held it longer. Intel INTC reports tonight. Stock trading up 10 cents ahead of that. 22.23. It got up and it kind of broke out of that little triple top thing yesterday. We were talking the 22.13 area was giving some trouble. It's 22.20 here today. I'd expect a little bit of muted trade ahead of the earnings tonight.
Yeah, how many times do you see a stock have a prolonged sell-off, make a bottom, come back up ahead of earnings, and then the earnings disappoint and it flops right back down? I just, you do have a nice trend line going up. You can't really say, it's broken out yet until we close above this 22.25 level. After that, you have major resistance again coming in at 22.54. So I have to agree with you on that. Could be some position squaring here ahead of the numbers.
Two big ones reporting tomorrow. General Electric is the first one that's going to report. Obviously, everybody will be watching that one. 21 has been absolutely enormous on this stock on the downside. It's kissed down there a few times in the last 5 trading sessions, bounced off it every single time, and it's really winding up too. The range, just like the S&P futures, is very, very tight on this. Obviously, when it comes up to with earnings tomorrow, you're going to think it's going to break out over that 21.25 or break down below
Oh,
that 21
jeez.
level, because that's been the range. It's been in this 25-cent range for the last 5 trading sessions.
Well, yeah, last 5 trading sessions, and then you take 2 days off, and you have 21.22 and 21.26 high. It's like the Rock of Gibraltar here. You can go back the way the stock traded similarly in August, really at about the same level, 21.10, 21.20, and then had a sell off to the 20.50 level. But boy, I tell you, there's some algo there, or some institution, or Warren Buffett, or somebody.
Somebody's squaring up.
Yeah, it's just amazing. If in fact it can clear that level, next major resistance point comes in at 21.54.
Morgan Stanley going to report earnings there tomorrow as well. This stock has been running up into the report. Obviously, yesterday had a great day breaking out again. It's weak this morning on the Citigroup numbers. I told you all the financials are trading down here this morning. But here you are. The stock obviously has had a nice run into the earnings. Can it continue the run?
Well, looking at yesterday's high, 2085, that's the highest that this stock has traded in quite some time. Back in February of 2012, you traded up to the $2070 level. So I think you're going to have rough sledding here from 2086 up to 21. There's probably some nice stock for sale, a nice round number like that. Right now, we're on the Citigroup news. We are trading down below the close, so 2054 is going to be your first minor resistance point.
What about Apple? It was kind of surprised a lot of people yesterday. Had one of its better days, up almost 20 points after closing, actually over 20 points after getting down, kissing down to that low of 483.38. Kind of had a reversal day, broke out through the 500. Is continuing the momentum somewhat this morning. We're up $2 this morning at 508. Like we were saying, I think you get up into this 515 area. I think it could get a little bit thicker. But interesting turn of events there yesterday, and definitely catching some people that were trying to short it through that 500.
Right, and 510.99 has been the high in the pre-market. That is a little bit over yesterday's high, which was 509.44. So let's just call that whole 510 to 510 and a quarter area is pretty good resistance. Coming back on the downside, I mean, you do have the close from yesterday at 506.09. That will act as minor support, but if in fact we take that out, we could slide right back down to the 500 level.
Facebook kind of consolidated a bit yesterday, but it's cut through this little trend line that I drew here. It's trading up this morning at 30.10, but it was a kind of a very quiet day considering the range it had the day before. It only had an 80-cent range yesterday, trading down as low as 29.53 up to 30.35. Getting towards that upper end, I think you start getting. For me to get bullish this thing again, it's got to obviously start trading over that high from yesterday at 30.35. And if this thing starts trading below 30 again here and kissing down that 29.50 area, I'd be nervous.
Yep. After having this incredible run of multiple higher lows and higher highs, now it looks as though the trend has reversed in the stock since hitting the recent high of the move at 32.21. You've had 3 lower lows. I expect that trend to continue. Do have some room down to 29.53. That's 4 cents above the low that you had on the 9th at 29.49. So you longs still holding out here. Wanting to give it a little bit room on the downside. Definitely below 29.50, you could be some in trouble in this stock.
Let's talk about Google too. It actually sold off a bit yesterday, got down as low as 713.67, bounced a little bit there. It's up $1 this morning, but it was a quiet day for Google. It was an inside day yesterday. Obviously, the day before had a low of 712.10, so I would keep my eye if you're trading it from the long side on that 712.10. Don't let it start slipping below that number if you're playing it from the long side.
Yep, trying to fill that gap from the beginning of the year, which would take you down to 710.57. Call that whole 713 area major support. If in fact it takes that out, should hit the 710, get back down to 700. I mean, this stock has kind of quietly come off 30 points from hitting 745 on the 10th of January now to creep its way back up. I'd call it major resistance yesterday's high, 724.34. And that coincides nicely with the close that you had on Tuesday at 724.93.
You wanted to make mention to IBM as well. IBM had basically a turnaround day yesterday too, where it was weaker the day before. Kind of turned around, made a new high. 192.85 is where it's trading at this morning. Got as high as 193.18 yesterday. What's your take on IBM?
Yeah, and then you have Monday's high, 193.28. So you got a double top there. If in fact IBM can clear that, there's really no major resistance in the 193 handle or the 194 handle. Last Friday's high was at 195. This is kind of shrug off, the downgrade that it had earlier in the week, and hasn't recovered really from as much as the overall market has over the last few weeks. So be interesting if IBM can get back over that 193.28 level.
We're running a little tight for time, so let's just give your overall thoughts on the market here as we approach this 1471 area that we've talked about. We're at 1470 right now, just a buck and a half off the highs of the move here. This market is resilient. It can get bad numbers from Citigroup. It had, obviously the Apple breaking down through the 500 a few days ago. It just keeps holding on. It seems like this market wants to go higher despite whatever the bad news is.
Yep, 1471.50 has been the high of the move. We talked about the major consolidation. The closes at 1465. So if you're playing this from the long side, use that 1465 area as a reference point. It just kind of feels like even if we do take out that 1471.50 level, it just it doesn't feel like we're going to get that major breakout, and go to 1475 or 1480. But we got a reference point on the upside. High of the move, multi-year high, 1471.50.
That's our show for today, folks. Have a great trading day. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.